As you've heard, it took nearly 6 decades to get justice for Marise. State police say it's the oldest cold case in Pennsylvania to be solved through DNA and one of the oldest in the entire country. It's a case that affected not only the Chivarella family, but an entire community for generations.
You were told by a grandparent, a parent, an aunt, an uncle, this is Marise's story.
Marise is Marise Chivarella. The 9-year-old from Hazleton was raped and murdered on March 18, 1964. Just hours after she started her walk to school that day, her body was found in a strip mine pit in Hazel Township.
We're always told not to get attached to a case, but you can't help it. And it's a vivid memory for everybody who lived through this, and it's a vivid memory for everybody who grew up in this area.
Now, state police have identified James Fort as Marise's killer. He lived just blocks from the Chivarella family and died in 1980. During a news conference, investigators said they had several suspects over the years, but it was DNA and genealogy that eventually led them to identify Fort. He left fluids on Marise's clothes. In 2007, that DNA was used to develop a profile of the person who killed Marise. In 2018, that DNA was entered into a genealogy database. That led police to a distant cousin of the killer, and then to closer relatives, and finally to Fort, who had been arrested for sexual assault in 1974. This past January, investigators exhumed his body from a cemetery in Drums, and then, just last week, the results came back. Fort's DNA was a match to the fluids found on the girl's clothing. Marise's killer had been found.
We're not under the impression that this isn't the only crime that he may have committed, and that maybe there's people out there that this guy may have perpetrated something on them before. So if you do have that information, we ask you to call the state police at Hazleton. We'd love to talk to you.
And you can call state police at Hazleton at the number on your screen. It's 570-459-3890. And you can find all of our stories about getting justice for Marise after all these years. Just go to WNEP.com/Marise.